What's up, guys? It's Lucas from Get Big in the 973, and I'm here with Jason and Kate from Musclesport. Guys, thank you so much for having me to the HQ. We're going to get into some interview questions here.
Awesome.
So we're just going to start with you, Jason. Can you tell us a little bit about your personal journey, how you started as a business management major at Hofstra University? Now you're a CEO and formulator for Musclesport. So how did you get there?
It's been quite a journey. Hofstra was back in the 90s. I'm old now.
Talking to a young cat like me.
So I don't remember too much from Hofstra, but I do remember my journey. I was always into fitness. I was always into health. My mother pushed vitamins in my orange juice when I was, 5 years old and told me to chug it down and make sure I was healthy. So it was always brought up to be healthy. There was one day I was literally walking down the street in my town because I needed a job.
No kidding.
And there was this very beautiful girl who was working at the vitamin store.
Okay.
Job working with her. So I went in, I asked if they were hiring. They hired me. Needless to say, the girl's boyfriend was the manager of that store.
Oh, nice.
So all good there. That was my start. I started working at a vitamin store called Nature Food Center.
Okay.
Proceeded to move on to GNC at the age of 17. I was actually, I think, one of the youngest managers ever at GNC.
No kidding.
17 years old. I went to Vitamin Shop. I was personal trainer. I've done it all.
Seriously.
I ended up working for a manufacturer for a good couple of years and started owning manufacturing companies for dietary supplements.
Okay.
Back in the early 2000s. And that's kind of how I learned Supp Chef, how I learned to formulate. And
so that's where all the knowledge, supplements, vitamins, formulations, flavor formulations, and all that kind of stemmed from?
Pretty much. I had all the knowledge from working at like Vitamin Shop and working at GNC.
Okay.
I mean, I was like an encyclopedia. I've forgotten so much of what I used to know. I mean, my family hates me because whenever they have something wrong with them, I say, take this. And it's probably annoying at this point. I'm sure you feel the same way. Yeah. That's how I started. And then I just wanted to do my own thing. So I had this little brand called Hypergenetic Labs, which is still around.
Okay.
We just have a fat burner at this point. I don't do much with it.
Sure.
But it's almost like one of those ones that's in your heart and you can't let it die.
Yeah, it's the one from the start. Yeah, exactly.
And then I was working with a manufacturing company. I started Musclesport as just like a little side project. And actually the reason I did it is because when I got into manufacturing, this was before GMP and all this.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of these guys would come to me and they'd say, I want a $3 pre-workout or sell it for $40. All I care about is the money. I want a $5 pre-workout. And I was just bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
About the products they're putting out there. So I just wanted to start creating products for myself.
Sure.
That I could take. And that's literally how Musclesport began.
That's crazy, yeah.
I created products that I could take myself. Since I was at that point part ownership, I had part ownership in this manufacturing plant. Oh, wow. I would just make 144. I would make 288 bottles, and I would just sell them to my friends or sell them to local stores. And then eventually, come 2012, I broke away from all that, and I started Musclesport as a full-time thing.
Wow.
So 2012 is really when Musclesport started to become a brand of its own.
Definitely.
Before that, it was a hobby.
Okay. So, yeah. I mean, you guys have been around for a while, right?
Probably 16 years. Yeah.
Which is pretty dang crazy.
Pretty good,
yeah, I would say it's pretty good. I mean, just look at all the products behind you. I mean, you have quite the array of everything.
Yeah.
So then that kind of was Musclesport always kind of an exclusive premium type brand then?
It was. Probably the reason that most people have only heard of Musclesport in maybe the last 4 or 5 years is because we had a very exclusive model. It kind of stems from, I guess, my morals.
Sure.
We only sold to brick and mortar stores. We didn't have a website, or we had a low functioning website.
Definitely.
And basically we would just sell to brick and mortar stores for X price, and we would ensure that they never sold at less than X price, and it would allow us to not have to come to a manufacturer and say we want a product for 5 so we can sell it for 10. We would make a product for 10.
Exactly.
Because it was better quality, and that's what we believed in. And because there was no internet, and the internet is kind of known for being a price war.
Yo, definitely.
We were able to maintain our quality, and also all the brick and mortar stores are very happy to push us. So we grew rather quickly in that sort of realm with being a brick and mortar exclusive.
So you grew the old traditional way, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And are you still, I guess, growing in that way, or are you more looking direct to consumer now?
We're growing in that way, not quite as much as we used to in the past.
Sure.
Obviously, what changed everything was COVID, of course.
Definitely.
And it's just a lot of stores were closing, a lot of gyms were forced to be shut down.
Yep.
So what are we going to do? We have to create a website, and we have to start getting aggressive with it.
Sure.
So that's what we did. So our website has really only been active since probably 2020, 2021 in terms of making money for us.
Yeah, definitely.
And probably only in the last 2 2 years is it actually making money for us.
Really?
So our focus now is definitely still brick and mortar. Always will be. That's where my heart is. The industry has changed, and you have to have marketing and you have to have branding behind your brand.
Yeah, exactly.
The more people that know about it, the more people that are going to go and buy.
Definitely.
So at this point, we're just trying to get the word out. I've always felt like I've had some of the best products in the game.
Sure.
I've always felt that way. I think people see it with the protein for sure.
Definitely.
I put my heart and soul into the protein over the last 2 years, and I think we're just enjoying that ride right now.
No,
and
definitely.
Just seeing where we could expand.
Definitely.
You know.
All right, Jason, or should I say Supp Chef? That's what everybody calls you now. Where did you get the name Supp Chef? I mean, it is very catchy. It's very like, this is your product formulated by Supp Chef. You know it's quality. You know it tastes good. Where did you get that from?
I don't know, man. I think I just made it up as an Instagram handle.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Just as an Instagram handle, and it just kind of picked up into this whole brand.
I was always very interested in flavoring. I always wanted to have the best flavors.
Interesting. You picked that up from your manufacturing gig?
I think my life, I just always wanted to be the best.
Sure. It's a mentality, right?
Yeah, I think you build a mentality that you want to be the best. So I kind of found a niche.
It is a niche, I would say.
And you mentioned the manufacturing. It did start at the manufacturing because back in 2011,
It's a long time ago. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
But back in 2011, I'm like a flavor connoisseur with ice cream. Like, you have to give me the best vanilla. I judge everything by vanilla.
Interesting.
So I was making this, what I think is amazing vanilla, and I was eating Oreos because I'm a fat kid at heart.
Yeah.
And I threw the Oreos in the vanilla.
Okay.
And I let everyone in the manufacturing plant try it. And I'm like, what do you guys think about this? They're like, this is the best cookies and cream I've ever tried.
No kidding.
And that's how it began.
That's a pretty cool like origin story kind of with the flavoring.
How it started. And then in the middle of like 2014, 15, the candy flavors started coming around.
Yep.
And I was working with a flavor house, and the flavor chemist there had worked with nerds.
Okay.
And he sent me his grape flavor. And I thought it sucked.
I was gonna say grape's a hard flavor to kind of nail down.
Yeah. You know, so I just started messing with it. It came out awesome. Like I made it better.
Sure.
And then people were doing the Skittles then, and they were doing the Starburst. And
yeah.
I still think my Skittles flavor, or my flavor that tastes like Skittles,
definitely, yeah, exactly,
is one of the best ones that's out there.
Really,
you know. And I just went from there, you know. And I just went from there. And I wasn't really into social media, but I started the social media because you have to. Sure. And I think one of my guys at the time, a wonderful asset to the company at the time, Supp Wolf.
Yes. Yeah.
You probably know him. He has
very
another company now. He became Supp Wolf, and I became Supp Chef at the same time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who did it first.
Yeah,
I think it was him. I'm pretty sure it was him. But
I think the name fits well. I mean, just look. Yeah. I mean, you have all the different flavors, and that's your specialty is the premium quality. And so, I guess to go off of that premium and quality with like the commitment to quality. I mean, what is your commitment to quality? I mean, I'll pass it to Kate. You can jump back and forth, but how do you ensure that the consumer is getting a quality product, a premium product at that?
Okay, so a few years ago, actually, when I first moved to New York, I started working at the manufacturing facility as a purchasing director. And so I would source ingredients. I would source everything that we would put in our proteins, our BCAAs, everything that we made. I would source them and find the best there was, the cleanest there was. So with that, though, I'm fully aware of how to source things, and I can read COAs really well. But additionally, I really like finding, inclusions. I like finding that type of stuff. But when you manufacture and you have them making it, you ensure that they, the label's pretty. Is the neckband on tight? How does it taste? Does it taste good? When the person picks it up and feels it, are they going to feel the texture on the label? Everything is like a group effort. It's not just the raw materials. It's not just the inclusions. It's not just the neckband. And then it's also how you deliver it. It's a whole package deal, but we go through rigorous testing and make sure everything's top quality from the start to the finish.
No. And that's from product details, like she said, as far as organoleptic, which organoleptic is the appearance, the taste, every single detail, on the label here, to raw material testing, to finished goods testing. I talk to manufacturers and I tell them that the testing that I want, and oftentimes they tell me that I'm excessive.
Sure.
But I'd rather be excessive and ensure that my products meet what it says on the label, because that's so much more important now.
Transparency is huge.
It's always been important. But in the early days, in the 20 years ago, I don't think quality was the most important thing.
No.
And I don't think it was as clear what quality is. I started before GMP was even a thing.
Sure.
So when GMP came and they started establishing rules, then you simply have to follow those rules. As long as you're following those rules, you're making a quality product. But I always looked at how do I make these products better?
Definitely.
And most of the things I do to make them better are on the organoleptic side. So
sure.
I would put 20% more flavor than everyone else did.
Definitely.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
I would taste a product and say, this is not sweet enough. Put a little more sugar or sucralose.
Sure.
And some of these companies wouldn't do that because it adds cost, but I would do that. I put edible glitter in our products.
Which is interesting,
like,
yeah.
Why? Why do I do that? It's honestly just because everything matters. Like, you look at this Dipsy Doodle here and you see these little glitter flakes here.
It makes the flavor.
Cool.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
cool. You know, it finishes out the product and makes sure everything is on point.
Definitely.
So, quality as far as organoleptic, quality as far as testing, we do it all. We have
Yeah.
C of A's for every single product. We have spec sheets for every single product. Everything you're supposed to do, we do.
Which is huge, especially in today's world of transparency and,
Exactly.
you know, showing everything for the product. No, it's a huge point, and it's great to hear that obviously a protein company, because you don't see a lot of transparent proteins, especially
Right.
in today's market, does that, right?
Right. And I'm not going to be transparent in my flavor system like some companies out there because that's my thing.
See, and that's
You're
where
easy.
I would agree on
You're
that.
easy.
Exactly. It's a I guess trade secret kind of thing. It's where, you know, that's what makes you. And it's not really something that consumers or other people really need to know, the specific flavorings and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
No, I agree on that. So I guess to kind of backtrack a little bit, you discussed COVID, you discussed, you know, multiple different things, but what would you say, and you could say COVID, what is the hardest challenge that the company has faced?
I think it was going through COVID.
Yeah,
Honestly, right before COVID, we were in the vitamin shop,
sure.
and we had sort of a breakup with the vitamin shop. We grew really fast, but just this is my company, and I don't think I had the financing at that point. I didn't cut the deal properly with the vitamin shop, which is very important for young brands. If you're going into the vitamin shop and you're going into GNC, you have to make sure your contract is favorable for both sides.
Definitely.
Because you can get whacked and have chargebacks and all these different things that can put you out of business. So I had a bad experience with Vitamin Shop.
Sure.
I love Vitamin Shop still. I worked there for many years. I think they're a great company, but you have to make sure the deal is correct. And then right after that, COVID hit.
Yeah, and COVID was huge, especially for the sports supplement industry.
So the hardest part about COVID was that my entire team pretty much quit. So
Sure.
I had a team for 7, 8, some of them with me for 10 years.
Wow.
And my entire team quit, except for maybe 1 or 2 people. So I owned a manufacturing plant at that point too.
That's huge.
So I was running a manufacturing plant, I was running a brand, and it was just way too much. I started to lose my energy. I felt exhausted.
Definitely.
But we got through it.
Definitely got through it.
And I did shut down my manufacturing company during that time because I felt that I was spread too thin,
Sure.
and I wanted to focus on what my best attribute was, which was, I believe, Musclesport.
I would definitely go with you on that. I'd say Musclesport's great.
And then, because of who I am, and you mentioned when you walked in, where are all these rhinos from?
Yes.
It's a book called Rhino Success. It's sort of about just being a rhino, and rhinos always charge forward, and rhinos have thick skin, and for me, I wanted to prove to the world that Musclesport wasn't done. So I've went crazy over the last 2 years. I mean,
Definitely.
you've seen it. I mean, I think I've dropped 40 flavors of protein. I'm doing everything I can to let people know we're here and we're stronger than ever.
Definitely. And I think you have. I mean, you discuss everything, product extensions, line extensions, flavor extensions. Like, you're going crazy like the rhino. So, okay, so I guess going off that, is there anything you two can share about future innovations down the line? Touch on some products that people don't know about yet, maybe know a little bit about, and give us some hints.
Okay, so there's a couple trends in the industry.
Sure.
Functional foods.
Definitely.
Who the hell wouldn't want a lean whey protein bar or a lean whey cookie or something like that?
Why wouldn't you? I think that's
So hint, might be something in the works.
definitely. So I guess
You know?
that's something that obviously we're not going to get too much information on now, but stay tuned for it because I bet you it's going to be a pretty interesting deal,
Yeah.
you know, future
Kate-
innovation.
Kate and I were on the road a couple weeks ago. We went to our baker, literally working in the lab with them to make sure we got it right. And I think we nailed 3 flavors. So if that brings you a little bit closer to where we're going,
The first of 3.
the first of 3.
Which is pretty huge.
Yeah.
So I will definitely be on the lookout for it. I'm sure everybody else is going to be on the lookout for it. I mean, you can only imagine what's going to be coming with all
And
this.
just the flavor options.
Yeah,
And if I
they're
can
pretty
put-
endless in terms of flavor
And the
options.
cool thing about functional food, one of the things that limits me on lean whey is I never want to go above like 4 or 5 carbs.
Sure.
And I don't really want to have more than like 1 or 2 grams of sugar.
It's definitely not as appealing to a lot of consumers.
Yeah.
I think that's the sweet spot kind of for a protein.
So as good as these flavors are, and I do agree that sometimes I work magic. Like, I don't even know how I do it because they do come out awesome when I'm limited to 3 or 4, maybe 5 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
But in a food item,
I
tell me how many bars have less than 20 grams of carbs.
No, definitely. I would probably say
Right?
close to none, if
Come
any,
on.
right?
This is gonna be fun.
I think it'll be interesting to see the flavor integrations
Yeah.
and how to kind of change it from, you know, obviously, like, let's say a banana Foster into a healthy banana Foster, right? So I think it'll be interesting to see how everything develops. Now we're going to get into some funny questions that aren't as traditional, but kind of can show a little bit about the brand and you guys as people. So what's the most bizarre or unexpected place place that you found inspiration for a new product flavor?
On our first date, she literally flew here from Idaho to meet me.
It's a long flight.
That's a long flight.
And a lot of trust.
And took her to Little Italy.
Nice.
In the city.
Represent.
Yep. And we went to this little bakery, and we were just talking about flavors. And she has really good insight on flavors. Like, honestly, when she jokes often in our videos that she's the real Supp chef, it's kind of true. Because she'll tell me, she'll say, well, if you want this flavor, you got to add a little niche of little bit of almond, or you got to add a little bit of this. What were we eating?
We were at, what's that, not Emerald Lagasse, but one of those like Italian bakeries. Like
Yeah,
we were eating, we went to a bakery, like a cannoli place.
It was a famous Italian bakery in Little Italy. It wasn't Junior's.
It was something like
whatever.
that.
Just plug some bakeries in here.
And we got the little Italian rainbow cookies.
Definitely, yeah, it was classic.
Yeah. And I literally said, I would love to make this as a flavor. And she told me how.
Really?
And I think that was one of our first defining flavors that kind of went outside the realm of like your vanilla, your chocolate, your cookies and cream, your fruity cereal. I mean, I did a rainbow Italian cookie. Who the hell does that? And
Nobody.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And she literally told me how to do it.
And flavors are complex. Like they're pretty. Like you got to know what's coming in first. Right. What's that aftertaste coming in? Like exactly. That's huge.
And she gave me all the information I needed. I literally went back to the lab the next day. I mean, you stayed here. Yeah. I think we came here and I wrote the formula.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
And I went on like our second.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's a big inspiration. Yeah, that's big.
And she's been helping me come up with a lot of the flavors since.
But we travel.
Been working out.
When we travel, we look at where we're at. Florida with key lime pie. Your Georgia peach cobbler.
Key lime pie didn't drop yet, Kate.
Hey.
I'll cut it out.
It's okay.
No, it's just places.
Huckleberry cheesecake.
Huckleberry cheesecake.
She's from Idaho.
Sure.
And I love Yellowstone National.
Yeah.
So that was literally brought about because of her. And
Definitely.
Recently, Katie's birthday cake, she had no idea about that one.
Yeah, that one's crazy. That one was really good. That's
Happy
definitely
birthday.
something to check out if you haven't. That one's really good.
But she makes amazing birthday cake. And I took a lot of the little secrets that she puts into the cake, like Oreo cookies.
Yeah.
And threw them in there and thought it came out really good.
I thought it came out really good too.
So she's my inspiration.
I was gonna say, so she's the full inspiration.
She's literally my inspiration.
Makes sense. No, I think it's good. It's been working out great so far, obviously. Yeah. Okay, all right. So then next, moving into the next one. What's the strangest ingredient you've ever considered putting into a supplement? Why did you or didn't go through with it?
2 years ago, on April Fool's, we decided to do a maple bacon donut flavor as an April Fool's.
Sure.
But I actually made a maple bacon donut leanway.
You went through and
I went through and made
flavor developed, got it all done and figured it out. No way, really.
So
that's a niche donut flavor, though.
It sure is. So my debate is, do I put bacon bits in there or not? Maybe you could do a little poll for your following.
I think we'll do a poll to figure that out because I think that's a very niche kind of donut, and I think that's something that could go either way. Sweet, savory.
Yeah.
So we never launched that product.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure how to go with it, but I think the base is amazing, and I'm just debating on whether to add a little bit of bacon bits.
But everything he does is 100%, so you're not going to see like something out there that's like, it's
half-assed.
It's all right. Yeah, like it's all right. It could be better. Like everything is like, no, this is a shit. Like this.
Well, I think that plays into the premium and the quality of the brand. Everything is top notch. You're not getting anything half baked.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is huge, and I think that's great. So all right, so bacon bits. We'll do a poll on it. We'll figure it out and see what people think. But no, that's huge. That's an interesting flavor profile for sure. All right, so this one's a little different direction, right? So if Musclesport were a superhero, what would its superpowers be, and what would its costume look like?
I think maybe, I don't know what Mother Time looks like, but it would be Mother Time in
Time Traveler.
Yeah, Time Traveler in chef hat. And I say that because, the chef hat is you, but also in the fact of when you taste the protein, when you taste the product, when you taste flavors, they take you back to nostalgia. They take you back to a time in your life where you're like, I remember this. Like, I remember Mom making chocolate chip cookies. Like, I remember, carrot cake. Or, one time when we went on vacation, we went down to Georgia and had peach cobbler, like southern sweet peach cobbler. And it takes you to that. It takes you to that moment. So Mother Time.
For me, it's the toasted almond.
Really?
Do you remember those Good Humor toasted almonds?
Oh yeah, of course.
I love them.
Really?
And that's why I launched the toasted almond.
Yeah,
to me it tastes exactly the same. I absolutely love it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you said earlier, you have a former, or not a former, you're a fat kid at heart. Yeah. So that like nostalgia of, you know, growing up and having that kind of stuff has kind of played out, right? And now you're making it healthy and, you know.
The inspiration behind Leanway is essentially being a fat kid at heart.
Yeah.
Because how do I want to go on a diet, but I don't want to be miserable.
No, why would you? Exactly.
And you don't have to be.
No.
Because if you can't handle 5 carbs, you got something way more wrong with your diet or your training routine or maybe your life.
Sure.
You know, if I can put a gram or 2 of cookies in your protein shake and now you're going to stick to your diet, you're going to stick to taking the product.
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Now, like, I feel like we could change lives with this because we're allowing people to get in shape and sort of enjoy it.
No, I think it's huge. I think a lot of people still take that basic vanilla or chocolate and hate their life. Why wouldn't you take Dipsadoodle or Protella or any of those flavors? So no, I think it's huge. I definitely think that's changing in the sense of supplements and the industry in general. So, all right, so an interesting superhero. I think Time Traveler fits it well, especially with the Dipsadoodle.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kate, if any lean whey ISO could talk, what would it say about the people who drink it? Now, this is an interesting
Pretty much
one.
what you just said. Like I want to look good. I want to feel good, but I still want to be a fat kid. So I want
to have that sweet.
I want to eat the dirty desserts, but I want to feel good about it, and that's what Leanway does.
No, I think exactly. I mean, that was a pretty similar question. They played pretty close to close.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I think, you know, there's multiple flavors here that people can say they had as a kid or just had when they were obviously not as committed to their goals, and now they can.
Yeah, but even like, you know, you look at cookies and cream, like having a cookies and cream shake is so much better than having a whole row of Oreos.
Yeah, exactly.
I like Oreos, don't get me wrong, like I love them and I would probably do it, but it makes you feel a little bit better if you have a shake rather than a whole row of Oreos.
No, I agree. I mean,
yeah, that's what it does. I mean, it makes it fun.
You're not just having one Oreo.
Yeah, you're eating the row.
No, you're eating the whole thing.
One, you're screwed.
Yeah, exactly. It's over.
Okay, I'm going to take 2 scoops of protein instead of 1. You're still good.
Yeah, you're done. You're not going to just, No, I agree. I mean, so it's definitely beneficial in the sense of kind of cutting down those cravings and everything. All right, so as we wind down, is there anything that you guys kind of want us to talk about with Musclesport, promote yourselves, or, you know, anything? Obviously, we can find you guys on socials, Supp Chef, Kate, and of course, we'll pop those up and everything and musclesport.com. But is there anything you guys kind of want to say to everybody?
We're really happy that people are liking the products. We put our soul and everything into this.
Yeah.
I mean, we really do. I mean, you've met the team. It's a small team. You actually felt like it was a big team, but I feel like it's a small team.
Sure.
Less than 10 people here. And we're working magic and we're all on the same page. And I'm so happy to have been able to, like I said, recover from the last couple of years, COVID and just those hard times and be able to do what we're doing.
It's a huge accomplishment.
And hopefully change some lives and stay innovative and most of all have fun.
Yeah.
Most of all have fun while we're doing it, and this is fun.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, you guys weren't privy to this, but before our little talk here, we had a meeting with the team, and we discussed flavors that we want to launch for 2025, and we're talking about cakes and pies and ice cream and just different things that that we want to get into and how we can keep it fun. So
it's exciting.
That's the most important thing. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think there's a lot of excitement. Yeah, innovation and excitement, and I think there's definitely going to be some stuff to stay tuned for. And obviously, as time goes on, you guys will see. But I appreciate you guys taking the time for the interview and having me at the headquarters.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Tune in next time.
It's great to
All
meet
right,
you, man.
let's go. All right, sweet.
Let's go.